Welcome to the ultimate expression of strength, versatility and innovation. Today we're driving into the world of the Nissan Patrol Warrior. Now for context, this is mine. I'm one of those people that use my Patrol for towing. And what I've had to do with this is I've had to make it fit for purpose. To do that, I've had to put in heavy duty springs, airbags in the rear end, and of course, as everyone does, it has got an exhaust on it just to allow it to sound exactly as good as it looks. Now when it comes to just the standard TI and TIL Patrol, where the Warrior kind of fits in, Warrior incorporates all the bits and pieces that Nissan have found a lot of Patrol buyers decide to accessorize. And that comes with larger wheels and tyres, that comes with the suspension lift, that comes with an exhaust, most commonly blacking out the entire interior, and obviously black accents on the outside of the car. And so Premcar, who are very well known for their modifications of vehicles, initially when they started out with Ford and Ford Performance Division, Premcar know how to take something and then take it to a whole nother level. The standard Patrol, fantastic car, and I love mine. It does everything that I want it to do, and there are so many things about the Patrol that just make me love it. But there are certain things that Premcar have managed to do to make that whole thing even better. And what they've done with the suspension system, obviously the lift, the larger wheels and tyres, the hydraulic body motion control adjustments, to basically make this thing perfect for Australian roads. And so I wanted to obviously see as how well this went with the van on the back. When it comes to connecting the caravan up, what I've had to do with mine is I always have to set the airbags inside the car to roughly around 55 PSI before I can connect the van up to it. And that's just to help level it out. What we're about to find out is whether the changes that Premcar have made basically make this thing no longer need to have any kind of suspension modification. So that's the part that I'm eager to check out. All right, moment of truth. Let's have a look at this. So now that that's all connected up, one thing that I've picked up on is normally when I've inflated the airbags that I have a bit of a difficulty trying to get the jockey wheel out of here, but in this it was actually surprisingly a lot easier. The jockey wheel didn't have as much pressure due to the height of the back of the car. So let's get it on a flat surface and see how it stacks up. So this van is fully loaded 3.3 tonne, and I've taken this thing over the weighbridge, and I found that I still had in the standard car with 3 kids and obviously everything going into it, that I still had a good part of 600 kilos of excess weight that I could obviously still put bits and pieces on the car, like roof racks and bits and pieces like that. The 7 tonne gross combined mass is unreal, and what the Warrior has been able to do is incorporate obviously that extra 100 kilos, which has made a world of difference with really not needing to change it. So unless you're planning on doing major fit outs with roof racks and bull bars and rear bars and all those kind of bits and pieces, the Warrior fresh out of the box is an unreal thing to consider. So what I've found since driving this is that with those variable rate springs in the back, it is very forgiving, just in how it handles. Like what I've noticed with mine is that you'd be driving along and you'd kind of feel the bumps, you would feel the caravan and the weight of the caravan flexing the back of the rear end of the car. But with this, it really just handles it quite well. Now, a couple of the guys at Ferntree Gully Nissan, including myself, were lucky enough to go and have a bit of an advanced screening view of the Warrior prior to its launch. And I had my spare parts manager with me, and both of us have Patrols. Stewie, however, has spent a little bit more on his rear end. He's had the billet rear arms and bits and pieces like that just to make the rear end a little bit more stronger. And we were in the car for probably about 15 minutes, and I remember I looked over at Stewie and we were both just like, mate, how well does this thing drive in comparison? We took this thing up Mount Disappointment and we took it on some pretty sketchy tracks, and I've done some work in mine and I've done some beach driving and bits and pieces like that in mine, and don't get me wrong, the standard car does a fantastic job. This thing was just so much more smoother and more comfortable with how it was going over the dips in the road. Is the Warrior worth the price difference? So, recommended retail price on a standard TI is around 93 grand in Victoria. A Warrior is 113. So, for 20 grand, what does 20 grand get you? For 20 grand, roughly wheels and tyres are going to set you back 4.5, 5 grand. A tow bar is going to set you back 1,800 bucks. An exhaust for a bimodal, 2.5 grand. The suspension lift and changes. So for you to do just airbags and springs, there's a couple of grand. If you wanted to then obviously do a lift, which this thing's had, you could be spending another easily $2,000 to $3,000 with HBMC changes and bits and pieces like that. The blackout, getting rid of all the wood grain. So we wrap them, whereas this is properly painted. This looks Mickey Mouse and the piano finished black. You would spend probably another $3,000 just doing the interior. Then you've got the black accents on the outside, the flares, and so very quickly when you start to add up all the bits and pieces that Warrior gets, it's actually really good value. Key thing about all of it is it's all covered under factory warranty, and so you will not have to worry about anything going wrong, and if it does, Nissan will resolve it. You'll bring it to a Nissan dealership instead of a third-party manufacturer, and we will facilitate all of the bits and pieces that's involved with any warranty work. When it's aftermarket, you're going to have to go back to the workshop that did the work. They're going to then have to chase it up with their supplier, and there's a whole long-winded process. So we opted to put a Manta exhaust catback system on our Patrol, just to make it sound as aggressive as it looks. And it's a sedate version because I didn't want anything that had a lot of highway drone. And so we're sitting on the freeway doing 100 now, and that bimodal exhaust system is unreal. Like, it is dead silent in here. And obviously if I wanted to hear it, I can put my foot into it, it'll open up, and away it goes. But when you're sitting on the freeway doing 100, that exhaust is just quiet. It's beautiful. Should you buy a Warrior? Warrior is not admittedly for everyone. The TI is very, very well equipped, and obviously at quite a decent price advantage. The TIL has all the creature comforts that you want. The heated seats, the cooled seats, basically all the little luxuries that are nice to have. The DVD players in the back, the better audio system, and still a sensational car. The Warrior is if you wanted a TI and you wanted to set this up for touring and you wanted to set this up for four-wheel driving, fresh out of the box, under warranty, Warrior is an excellent choice. This thing needs to be seen and driven to be believed. You have to drive one after the other in order to get a real strong idea of how well Premcar have actually done with this car, and definitely test driving one of those is well and truly an expectation when it comes to being able to see what Warrior is all about. You'll be very impressed. Thank you for joining us on this thrilling adventure with the Nissan Patrol Warrior. The adventure doesn't end here. Visit Ferntree Gully Nissan, Australia's premier Nissan dealership, where a community of explorers choose to embark on their next adventure. Visit us today and see why more people choose us for their Nissans. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you joining the Nissan family.